We all have moments in life when we feel like we've lost our way, when the weight of the world seems unbearable, and we wonder if we'll ever be able to pick up the pieces and start over. But here's the truth, you don't just have to settle for what life hands you. You have the power, the strength, and the ability to create the life you desire, starting right now. I know it feels like it's easier said than done, trust me, I've been there. But change begins with one moment, and that moment can be today. So, let's break it down, shall we? We all have a past. It's inevitable, it's unavoidable, and yet it often becomes the thing that chains us to a life we no longer want. The mistakes we made, the relationships that didn't work out, the failures we experienced, the opportunities we missed, they can linger in our minds like a dark cloud, constantly reminding us of what we didn't do or could have done better. But here's something you must understand. Your past is not who you are. It's simply a part of your journey. It's a chapter, not the entire story. The real power lies in your ability to decide that the past will no longer control your present or future. You can choose to leave it behind. You can decide to start fresh, to redefine yourself, to create a new path forward. The problem is, many of us get so caught up in what we didn't do that we forget about what we can do. The shame, the guilt, the regrets. They become our identity, shaping our beliefs about who we are and what we're capable of. We tell ourselves that we're not worthy, that we've already failed too many times to try again. But this mindset will trap you. It will keep you stuck in the past, never allowing you to move forward. You have to break free from these limiting beliefs and realize that your worth is not determined by your mistakes. Your worth is inherent. It comes from your capacity to rise, to learn, to grow, and to move on. Think about the moments in your life when you've overcome fear, whether it was speaking in front of an audience, pursuing a new career, or making a big life change. In those moments, fear was present, but it didn't stop you. What did stop you, time and time again, was your belief in the power of fear over you. You see, fear thrives on uncertainty. It feeds off of the unknown, the what-ifs, and the possibility of failure. But when you choose to take action in the face of fear, you are telling the world that you are not afraid of what could happen. You are ready for whatever comes. You are embracing the unknown. And in doing so, you unlock a level of strength within yourself that you never knew existed. The key to overcoming fear is not to pretend it doesn't exist, but to acknowledge it, face it head on, and then move forward anyway. Think of fear as a signal, an indicator that you're about to step outside of your comfort zone and into new territory. It's a reminder that growth is happening. Every time you face a fear, no matter how big or small, you are expanding your capacity to handle challenges. You are building resilience, and with every step forward, fear becomes a little less powerful. This is how you reprogram your brain. You train yourself to see fear not as a roadblock, but as a signpost pointing you in the direction of something greater. Fear doesn't just manifest in physical ways, it can also take shape in your thoughts, paralyzing your mind and making it hard to take action. How many times have you talked yourself out of something, convinced yourself that it was too risky or that you weren't capable? That's fear in action. But you must learn to separate fear from fact. When your mind starts playing tricks on you, feeding you worst-case scenarios and telling you that failure is imminent, pause for a moment and assess the reality of the situation. The truth is, the fear you feel rarely reflects the actual risk or danger of the situation. You give yourself the freedom to be unapologetically you, with all your flaws, your mistakes, and your triumphs. You are enough, and once you fully embrace that, once you stop allowing others to define your worth, you'll find that the world opens up in ways you never imagined. In order to truly own your story, you must also forgive yourself. The weight of guilt, regret, and self-blame will hold you captive if you allow it. You must release yourself from that burden. Understand that you did the best you could with the knowledge, tools, and circumstances you had at the time. You didn't have all the answers, and that's okay. Forgiveness isn't about excusing your actions. It's about freeing yourself from the shackles of the past. It's about giving yourself permission to heal, to grow, and to move forward without the constant shadow of guilt hanging over you. The truth is, you deserve that freedom. You deserve to walk through this life unburdened by what you didn't do right. When you forgive yourself, you give yourself the power to truly start fresh. Only then can you begin to embrace the future that awaits you with open arms. Fear is the invisible force that stands between us and our dreams. It often feels like a wall we can't climb, a weight we can't lift, a constant whisper in our ear telling us we're not good enough, not brave enough, or not worthy of the success we crave. But here's the thing, fear is not real. It's an emotion, yes, but it's only as powerful as you allow it to be. The truth is, fear is nothing more than a byproduct of our own minds. Our insecurities, our doubts, and our anxieties projecting themselves in the form of a shadow we cannot touch. The only way to truly defeat fear is to realize that it only has control over us if we give it permission. Once you recognize this, you begin to realize that fear is not a barrier, it's an invitation to grow. The first step in taking ownership of your story is recognizing that you hold the pen. No one else has control over the direction of your life unless you give it to them. You are the one who decides what story you want to tell. Yes, things may have gone wrong, and yes, you may have made some poor decisions, but that doesn't mean your life is over. It means you have learned, evolved, and now have the chance to write the next chapter with intention. You must stop being a passive observer in your own life and start being the active creator of your reality. Every day is a new opportunity to shape the person you want to become. And that starts with owning your past, not letting it define you, but using it as a stepping stone to create the life you desire. You're not the person who made the mistakes, you are the person who has learned from them. It's in this shift of perspective that real power is born. The things that once held you back, your failures, your struggles, are now the very things that fuel your growth. You don't need to bury your past or pretend it didn't happen. Instead, you need to embrace it, learn from it, and use it as a foundation upon which you can build something extraordinary. The person you are today is stronger, wiser, and more capable because of what you've been through. Every hardship, every setback is an opportunity for you to rise, to improve, to become better. The past doesn't hold you back unless you let it. A big part of owning your story is letting go of the need for external validation. Too many people live their lives seeking approval from others, waiting for someone else to tell them that they're good enough, that they deserve happiness, success, love. But you don't need anyone's permission to live your best life. The only approval you need is your own. When you own your story, you stop seeking validation from others. You stop waiting for the world to tell you that it's okay to move forward. You give yourself the freedom to be unapologetically you, with all your flaws, your mistakes, and your triumphs. You are enough, and once you fully embrace that, once you stop allowing others to define your worth, you'll find that the world opens up in ways you never imagined. In order to truly own your story, you must also forgive yourself. The weight of guilt, regret, and self-blame will hold you captive if you allow it. You must release yourself from that burden. Understand that you did the best you could with the knowledge, tools, and circumstances you had at the time. You didn't have all the answers, and that's okay. Forgiveness isn't about excusing your actions. It's about freeing yourself from the shackles of the past. It's about giving yourself permission to heal, to grow, and to move forward without the constant shadow of guilt hanging over you. The truth is, you deserve that freedom. You deserve to walk through this life unburdened by what you didn't do right. When you forgive yourself, you give yourself the power to truly start fresh. Only then can you begin to embrace the future that awaits you with open arms. Fear is the invisible force that stands between us and our dreams. It often feels like a wall we can't climb, a weight we can't lift, a constant whisper in our ear telling us we're not good enough, not brave enough, or not worthy of the success we crave. But here's the thing, fear is not real. It's an emotion, yes, but it's only as powerful as you allow it to be. The truth is, fear is nothing more than a byproduct of our own minds. Our insecurities, our doubts, and our anxieties projecting themselves in the form of a shadow we cannot touch. The only way to truly defeat fear is to realize that it only has control over us if we give it permission. Once you recognize this, you begin to realize that fear is not a barrier, it's an invitation to grow. Think about the moments in your life when you've overcome fear, whether it was speaking in front of an audience, pursuing a new career, or making a big life change. In those moments, fear was present, but it didn't stop you. What did stop you, time and time again, was your belief in the power of fear over you. You see, fear thrives on uncertainty. It feeds off of the unknown, the what-ifs, and the possibility of failure. But when you choose to take action in the face of fear, you are telling the world that you are not afraid of what could happen. You are ready for whatever comes. You are embracing the unknown. And in doing so, you unlock a level of strength within yourself that you never knew existed. The key to overcoming fear is not to pretend it doesn't exist, but to acknowledge it, face it head-on, and then move forward anyway. Think of fear as a signal, an indicator that you're about to step outside of your comfort zone and into new territory. It's a reminder that growth is happening. Every time you face a fear, no matter how big or small, you are expanding your capacity to handle challenges. You are building resilience, and with every step forward, fear becomes a little less powerful. This is how you reprogram your brain. You train yourself to see fear not as a roadblock, but as a signpost pointing you in the direction of something greater. Fear doesn't just manifest in physical ways, it can also take shape in your thoughts, paralyzing your mind and making it hard to take action. How many times have you talked yourself out of something, convinced yourself that it was too risky or that you weren't capable? That's fear in action. But you must learn to separate fear from fact. When your mind starts playing tricks on you, feeding you worst-case scenarios and telling you that failure is imminent, pause for a moment and assess the reality of the situation. The truth is, The fear you feel rarely reflects the actual risk or danger of the situation. Fear is often rooted in the fear of judgment. We worry about how others will perceive us, what they will think if we fail, and whether we will be ridiculed for trying something new. But this fear of judgment is a form of self-imposed limitation. It's a belief that your value is somehow tied to the opinions of others. The truth is, people are more focused on their own lives than they are on yours. The judgment you fear often doesn't exist outside of your own mind. The only way to truly break free from the grip of fear is to stop living for other people's expectations. When you stop letting the opinions of others control your decisions, you liberate yourself to live authentically, unapologetically, and without regret. Finally, understand that fear is not something you overcome once and for all. It's a constant companion on the journey of growth. As you move forward in life, new fears will arise, new challenges will surface, and you will be faced with more moments of uncertainty. But with each challenge, you will become stronger, braver, and more equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Fear is not something to be avoided or eliminated. It's something to be embraced as a part of your journey. It will always be there, but with every victory you achieve in spite of it, you chip away at its power. Fear only has as much control over you as you allow it. So, take action. Step into the unknown. Let fear be your guide, not your enemy. And in doing so, you'll find that you are far more capable than you ever imagined. Change is one of the most powerful forces in life, yet it is often one of the most resisted. We fear change because it challenges us, disrupts our comfort zones, and forces us to face the unknown. But let me tell you this, change is not the enemy, it is the gateway to your greatest transformation. You can either resist it, stay stagnant in the life you've outgrown, or you can embrace it, trust the process, and unlock the life you've always dreamed of. Change is not a burden to bear, it's an invitation to step into your highest potential. The moment you realize this, everything shifts. You stop viewing change as a threat and start seeing it as an opportunity to evolve, to expand, and to reach for something greater. We often hold on to the old, even when we know it no longer serves us. Whether it's an old habit, a toxic relationship, or a limiting belief, we are comfortable with what is familiar, even if it's holding us back. But the truth is, if you want something new, you have to be willing to let go of the old. You cannot carry the baggage of yesterday into the future you want to create. This doesn't mean you forget about your past or erase the lessons you've learned. It means you stop letting the past define you and start creating a future that aligns with who you are today. The moment you let go of what no longer serves you is the moment you make room for what will propel you forward. Change is not always easy. In fact, it often feels downright uncomfortable. We experience resistance, fear, and self-doubt when we begin to move towards something unfamiliar. But what if I told you that it's in the discomfort that growth happens? The magic of transformation occurs when you step outside of what is safe and familiar and into what is unknown. The moment you push through that discomfort and keep moving forward, you begin to unlock the strength and resilience within you that you never knew existed. Every time you step into a new chapter of your life, you build more confidence, more courage, and more belief in yourself. The discomfort is not a sign that you should turn back, it's a sign that you're on the right path. We often wait for the perfect moment to change, thinking that the stars must align, that everything must be in place before we make a move. But here's the hard truth, there is never a perfect moment. Life will never hand you an ideal set of circumstances to begin your transformation. If you keep waiting for everything to be just right, you will be waiting forever. The truth is, the perfect moment is the one you create by taking action. Even when conditions aren't perfect. When you make the decision to change, you don't need everything to be aligned. What you need is the courage to begin, the willingness to take that first step, and the faith that everything will fall into place as you move forward. Every action you take toward change compounds, bringing you closer to the life you desire. One of the most powerful things you can do when embracing change is to surround yourself with the right people. Change requires support, encouragement, and sometimes a little tough love. If you are surrounded by people who resist change, who are comfortable in their own mediocrity, you will find it much harder to embrace your own transformation. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, and who believe in your potential, you will be amazed at how much more capable you feel. These are the people who will push you to step outside of your comfort zone, who will cheer you on when you doubt yourself, and who will remind you that change is not only possible, it's inevitable. When you embrace change, you are also embracing the unknown. It's in the unknown that we find our greatest potential, our greatest opportunities, and our greatest growth. But this requires faith. Faith that even though you don't have all the answers, even though the path isn't clear, everything will work out in the end. You have to trust that the universe has a plan for you, that the steps you are taking now are leading you to where you need to be. We all have a tendency to play it safe, to stick with what we know, to cling to the comfort of the familiar. It's human nature. We avoid risk because the fear of failure feels so overwhelming. But here's the truth, nothing great is ever achieved without stepping outside of your comfort zone. The things that truly matter, the dreams you want to achieve, are often hidden just beyond the edge of what feels comfortable. The truth is, growth happens when you venture into the unknown. The magic of transformation begins when you push past the boundaries you've set for yourself. When you take that leap despite the fear. And when you finally decide that staying comfortable is a prison you no longer want to live in. Embracing discomfort is how you unlock your potential and become the person you were always meant to be. If we allow it, fear can paralyze us, leaving us stuck in the same place, replaying the same situations over and over, never moving forward. We fear failure, and so we avoid it. We fear rejection, so we don't put ourselves out there. We fear making mistakes, so we never take action. But in reality, failure is not the enemy. It's not something to run from or avoid. Failure is simply feedback. It is a part of the process of growth. Every time you fail, you learn. You learn what works, what doesn't, and how to improve. Failure teaches you resilience and strengthens your ability to face challenges head-on. So stop being afraid of it. Understand that failure isn't something that defines you. It's an event that happens to you, a stepping stone on the road to success. The sooner you embrace it, the sooner you'll start seeing it as a necessary part of your journey, rather than a roadblock. Risk is inherently tied to change, and often the biggest risks are the ones that lead to the most profound rewards. When you take risks, you are choosing to take control of your future. You are choosing to reject the status quo and instead build the life you desire. Risk forces you to make bold decisions. It requires you to trust yourself, to take a leap of faith in your own abilities. The reality is that you'll never know how far you can go unless you are willing to push beyond what feels safe. Whether it's taking on a new project at work, moving to a new city, or stepping into a new relationship, risks force you to step up, stretch yourself, and discover what you are truly capable of. It's through taking risks that we discover the depth of our own strength and potential. But risk doesn't just mean physical or financial risk. It also involves emotional risk. It means putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, and allowing yourself to be seen. It means embracing the possibility of heartbreak, of disappointment, and of being let down. But guess what? The rewards of emotional risk far outweigh the fear. Because when you take emotional risks, you open yourself up to love, connection, and opportunities for growth that you would have never experienced had you stayed in your safe little bubble. Vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. And when you allow yourself to feel, to fail, and to be vulnerable, you invite deeper experiences into your life. Experiences that will change you in ways you can't even imagine. The truth is, the fear of taking risks and embracing change often stems from the illusion that we have control over the future. But the future is unpredictable, and the only certainty in life is change. So the question becomes, do you want to control the direction of your life by embracing risk, or do you want to stay stuck in a cycle of safety and stagnation, always wondering, what if? The moment you accept that change is inevitable and risk is a necessary part of living fully, you stop fighting against it and start embracing it. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start realizing that now is the perfect moment. You take ownership of your life, your choices, and your future. You step into the unknown with confidence, knowing that even though you cannot control everything that happens, you have the power to shape the direction of your life. Ultimately, embracing risk, change, and discomfort is about reclaiming your power. It's about taking back control over your narrative and realizing that you have everything within you to navigate whatever life throws your way. When you choose to stop fearing the unknown, you open yourself to new possibilities, new relationships, and new opportunities for growth. The moment you stop living in fear of what could go wrong is the moment you truly start living. You start taking action, making decisions, and moving toward the life you deserve. When you embrace discomfort and risk, you choose to be a creator of your life rather than a passive bystander. The world becomes your playground, full of endless possibilities waiting for you to explore, risk, and experience it all. We are all born with an innate power to shape our lives, yet most of us are taught to play small, to stay within boundaries, and to conform to societal expectations. From a young age, we are conditioned to believe that success is something that is earned through strict rules and limitations. But the truth is, success is not one size fits all. You are the architect of your own future, and only you can define what success means to you. Too often, we look to others for approval, follow paths that weren't meant for us, and let our dreams be overshadowed by the pressures of the world. But what would happen if you stopped trying to meet someone else's standards and started living according to your own? What if you realized that your power lies in your ability to create your own definition of success, not to fit into someone else's box? The moment you stop measuring your life by external standards is the moment you take full control of your destiny. One of the most powerful steps toward creating a life that's truly your own is learning to trust yourself. Trusting yourself means believing in your ability to make the right decisions, even when the path ahead is unclear. So many people live in a state of constant indecision, paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice. But here's the truth: there is no perfect path. There is no roadmap that guarantees success, no clear-cut formula for life. What matters is your ability to trust that no matter what decision you make, you are capable of adapting, learning, and growing along the way. Trusting yourself also means accepting your imperfections, embracing the lessons learned from failure, and recognizing that every misstep is an opportunity for growth. When you trust yourself, you free yourself from the need to seek approval from others and give yourself the freedom to follow your own path. Part of trusting yourself is also learning how to set boundaries. Boundaries are essential for maintaining your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Far too often we give too much of ourselves to others, whether it's our time, energy, or love, without taking the necessary steps to protect ourselves. We overcommit, neglect our own needs, and allow others to drain our resources without realizing the toll it's taking on us. Setting boundaries is an act of self-love and self-respect. It is recognizing that you are worthy of time, respect, and energy just as much as anyone else. When you set clear boundaries, you make space for yourself to grow, to recharge, and to pursue what truly matters to you. Boundaries are not about being selfish, they are about being conscious of your needs and taking the necessary steps to honor them. Another key to building a life of success and fulfillment is learning how to embrace failure as part of the process. Failure is not the end, it is merely a stepping stone to success. Society often portrays failure as something to be ashamed of, but those who achieve the most are often the ones who have failed the most. Think about the great innovators, leaders, and entrepreneurs. They didn't succeed on their first try. They learned from every failure, refined their strategies, and kept moving forward. Failure is an invaluable teacher. It shows you what doesn't work, what to avoid, and where you need to improve. Embracing failure means letting go of the fear of making mistakes and instead seeing every setback as an opportunity to grow stronger. The more you embrace failure, the more resilient you become, and the more you are able to move forward with confidence and clarity. In the pursuit of success, it's also essential to surround yourself with the right people. The people you spend time with can either uplift you or drain you. When you surround yourself with those who encourage you, challenge you, and believe in your potential, you are more likely to thrive. Relationships are powerful. Positive relationships can inspire you to reach new heights, while toxic relationships can hold you back, cause self-doubt, and prevent you from taking action. The right people will push you to be the best version of yourself, while the wrong ones will make you feel small and insignificant. It's essential to be mindful of who you allow into your life and to invest in relationships that align with your values and goals. By curating a network of supportive individuals, you set yourself up for success because you are no longer carrying the weight of negativity or discouragement. Finally, success requires a commitment to growth and continuous learning. Life is constantly evolving, and if you want to keep up with it, you need to be willing to adapt. The most successful individuals are lifelong learners. They understand that no matter how much they know, there's always more to learn. This mindset of growth not only applies to your career, but also to your personal life and emotional intelligence. Reading, learning new skills, taking risks, and stepping outside of your comfort zone are all ways to cultivate growth. The key is to never stop evolving. If you stop learning, you stop growing. If you stop growing, you become stagnant. But when you commit to growth, you create a life that's dynamic, vibrant, and full of new opportunities. Embracing the idea that growth is a continual process and not a destination keeps you moving forward with purpose and passion. As you embark on the journey of creating a life that is truly your own, remember this: the power to transform your reality lies within you. The choices you make today will shape the person you become tomorrow. Trust in yourself. Embrace failure as a lesson. Set your boundaries and surround yourself with those who lift you up. Be relentless in your pursuit of growth, knowing that the path is never linear and that every step, no matter how uncertain, brings you closer to the life you desire. Success is not a destination, it is a way of living, authentically, passionately, and fearlessly. So step forward with confidence, knowing that you have the power to create the life you've always dreamed of. The future is yours to shape.